Okay, welcome to today's edition of the Wealthy Lightworker. I am so excited to have Stephanie Bellinger here with us tonight. She is the spiritual boss babe, and she is a mindset and business coach for conscious and spiritual entrepreneurs. And I love what she says. Her mission is to help other women shine their light bright AF and to step into power, create a life and business that sets their soul on fire. And today's, interview title is "Make a Massive Impact and Get Paid to Share Your Gifts with the World." So, Stephanie, welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So, as usual, we're going to go ahead and start with our deep breath just to center ourselves. So, let's take a deep breath in, and one more. Awesome. Okay. So, Stephanie, let's start off by just, I think it's so amazing, you being as young as you are and just as out there and shining your light so bright AF. With that, like, how did you find yourself in this role of, mindset and business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs?
It might get a little long, but I will
Bring
share.
it on.
I'll try to summarize the bullet points. But I don't think I'm that young. I'm like 31.
Well, we're the same age, so I guess I shouldn't say that. But it feels like for me, comparatively, I'm like, oh, look at you doing your thing, girl. I'm just getting started. So cheers to that.
But when I was like 14 to 20, I was in a really abusive relationship. And that point in my life really propelled me on my spiritual and personal growth journey. So I'm actually really grateful for that time, even though it was hell, because it really was hell, because it forced me to look within and to grow, and I started connecting with angels and doing all my woo-woo stuff back then. And I started my fitness journey because I was like, man, like I need to feel better about myself and leave this relationship, but I felt like I was powerless. So once I started my fitness journey, it changed my life. I lost like 60 pounds.
Wow.
When I was like 17, and I just started building more confidence and strength, and eventually I ended up leaving that relationship. It still took a while, but I really had to build up a lot of mental strength, because if people who have never been in an abusive relationship may not understand, but it is really, really hard to leave, even when you know that it's not good, because it's so they manipulate you and break you down to a point where you really do feel stuck. You really do feel powerless. So after I left, I remember that night vividly. It was like the best night of my life. We lived together, and it was like the best night of my life because it symbolized freedom. Like I could do whatever I want now, even though I always could, but I really could. I basically showed myself, wow, okay, like we're out of here. This is not for us. Peace out. And then I started following my dreams back then, which were really different. But there was this motivation that was like, I don't know, I don't want to say born, but it just like this fire was like really it was like a bonfire in my heart to do everything I ever wanted to do and to like change the world. So back then it was being a makeup artist, because I wanted to help people, build confidence. And I've always been an artist. So that's like part of my theme. I've always been an artist, but I wanted to use that because that's my talent, and also help people feel good about themselves and more confident and stuff. So that was when I first started, and it transitioned many times between then. And it wasn't really until I decided to become a personal trainer when I was maybe 23, and that I really realized what that my purpose involved helping others in a deeper way. So I started doing more personal growth, like reading all the books, watching the videos, doing EMDR therapy, going to a hypnotherapist, all kinds of stuff during that time. And then I realized, wow, I need to help people with a little bit deeper things. Like I'm on the right path, but I need to help people with their mindset. And throughout all this, I've had all these different business ventures, right? So that's where the business part comes in. And finally down the line, even more, like to kind of to where I am now is like, and this is what I really always wanted to do for a while. I needed to go through all that stuff first. I always wanted to help people live out their purpose, you know, and that requires a lot of mindset work, and that requires, you know, being your true self and not being scared, and that requires dedication and consistency, all of the things that, you know, I've been kind of learning even since my fitness journey. And so now I am helping other people make an impact and making money doing what they love, which is mostly helping change the world, because I like helping people who want to change the world, and do it in a way that feels really aligned with them and live out their passions and purpose. So that's kind of like a summary of like my little journey, the Cliff Notes
Not
version.
so little. It's very epic and it's so
Yeah.
amazing. So when you left that relationship, do you feel like it was almost like this energy that had been poured into that was suddenly freed up and you could just like take it and run?
I never really thought of it that way, but it could have been. Like, I am not even like, it was like this like life force just like was like shooting out of me. But at the same time, I still had a lot of stuff to work on. Like I went through this phase of like, you know, being a lush, doing drugs, drinking, partying, like, you know, because I was 20, almost just about to turn 21 when I left. So you got to keep in mind, 14 to 20 is a really long time to be a slave to someone, which is what it was. Even though I'm the one who gave my power away,
Sure.
you know, it was like a really critical time in someone's life, you know, like when you're forming your self-identity and all that. So after I left, I definitely spent a couple of years like just like not giving a shit about, I mean, I gave a shit, but like I didn't, you know,
Right.
I'm just like, I'm free, let's
Of
just do
course.
it.
Yeah.
But it was all part of the journey and I don't regret it. And I learned a lot. It's crazy. Like I need to write a book already, like
Yeah,
about
you
I kind of started it.
do.
So
Yeah. You help so many people who have been through similar things. It's
yeah.
beautiful. So when you got into the business side and you started to be an entrepreneur yourself, did you find that it was a pretty straightforward journey? Or I know you mentioned that you still had a lot to learn. So talk to me about some of the bumps in the road on that journey.
It's been a journey that's over a decade now. So when
Mm.
people see, like, it seems like I become really successful really quickly
Sure.
because it's only been like a year and a half or so that I've been doing my spiritual boss babe brand. But I've really been doing the entrepreneur thing for like 10 years. I
Mm-hmm.
started with the makeup thing and like
Mm-hmm.
I went all in. I had my business cards, I made my little website, I like did freelance stuff. Um, there was a lot of bumps along the way though, because, and mainly it was mindset stuff, to be honest with you. So when I started my personal training, I went on my own as a personal trainer eventually in New York. I was working at a gym and then I went self-employed and I was making like 5-figure months within like right away. I went from like nothing in my bank account to like 5 figures in my bank account every month. And I was so excited and I was so proud of myself. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like this is surreal. Like this is what I've always wanted and like what I've been striving for, but this is like crazy, but so cool. But at the same time, I had so much shit I had to work on that I really didn't realize. And I was working on myself, but I didn't realize how to navigate around it and to stay aligned with what I wanted. So I had a lot of these funky money beliefs come up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was my biggest struggle, the money blocks and shit that gets in the way. So I was making all this money and I was still always scared of running out. That I was always scared of running out. No matter what, I was scared of running out, even though I had all this coming in. And because of that, about a year and a half later, you know, gradually it did dwindle down and I wasn't attracting clients anymore. And like, I had to literally start back at square one. Like I really did. Like I had to get a side job again. I felt like a failure. I was on top of the world. I was like, you know, Miss Fitness, like I had a big following online and was doing online stuff and personal training. And then it just seemed to crumble beneath me. Actually, there's a story behind that a little bit, but and I had to rebuild all the way back up. I actually gave most of my money to a psychic. It's really funny. It's
Wow.
funny now, but it was not funny then.
Wow. So that was, I mean, and what, like, so interesting given what your, you know, what that money block was for you, how it did manifest itself. And, you know, you were part of it, you took part in all of it, but it must have felt like it was beyond your control at that point.
I knew what I was doing. That's the funny thing, because I knew what I did to manifest that experience and the money and the clients and all that. I knew what I did to do that. And then I also knew what I was doing before it even happened. And I just couldn't get around it. And it wasn't just money thing. It was like a lot of, and I realize this now because after the work, because it was like, it was always like money and love that like was my like, it just really, there was a lot of stuff that needed healing and processing around both of those things. So, but it actually really forced me to go even deeper within myself, to love myself. You know, I thought I was loving myself, but I really had a lot of things to do, because when I left that abusive relationship, I actually left the little girl part of me behind. I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not weak anymore. I'm gangsta Steph. Like, no one could fuck with me. But I had to, like, and I know this doesn't even seem like it has to do with money stuff, but it really, like, the energy of it really does make a difference. Like, I really, I thought I was giving myself what I needed and like loving myself and all that, but I really was neglecting like a huge part of me. And it was because I left her behind when I left that, you know, it was like some deep shit.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. I've heard this come up a couple times around, you know, love and money being so interconnected. And I think, you know, they are both sacral chakra, you know, energies, right? So it makes sense that they would have the same kind of vibration. And it's amazing when you think about it, when you say that you're not worthy of love, you're also saying you're not worthy of abundance. And it's really all the same energy. And those of us who struggle with money might not realize that, you know, this is a magical money tip right here. Focus on, you know, loving ourselves. So let's talk about that. What did you find was like you know, what was the switch that flipped for you when you started to really love yourself fully? How did it feel? What did it look like?
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
Like, good way. Like, it was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't explain it. Like, it actually happened when I was in New York, because I'm in Florida now. I keep saying everyone knows, but I used to live in New York City, and I'll probably be moving back when I get my second penthouse apartment there.
Love it.
But I was in New York, and I got accepted to be part of this test group for this dance workout with Sean T.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know him, he's the guy who does Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I got accepted with like 30 other people to be part of his test group, actually, which for this dance program. And we had to go every single morning at like 7 a.m, go do this dance workout. And for me, like dance, like I've always like dancing and stuff on my own, but like I was always self-conscious, like when it came to like just going all out or whatever, in general. And there's something about that experience, the whole dancing equals being free equals loving yourself. And I swear I never cried so much in my life throughout that whole freaking month, because I was like, oh my God, like this, it was like literally life-changing, the whole journey of that. It wasn't just the dance part of it. It was like, it just felt so freeing, like being able to just like move emotionally with the music. And I just started getting into hoop dancing, which is giving me the same feeling. But
what kind of dancing?
Hoop, like hula hoop dancing.
Yes, I saw your video. You're really good. That's awesome.
I only know like 5 tricks, but
more than I know.
But yeah, there was something about that experience that really, really propelled me. And I was like, oh my God, like I honestly, it woke me up to really realizing that I have a lot of stuff to do. And Sean T is amazing. Like whenever he was there and he did his little talks with everyone, oh my God, I was crying like a baby, just because like there was like no judgment. Like it was like all this stuff was coming up through that experience that seemingly doesn't really relate to a workout, but it really got so deep. And I was like, wow, so that was like, and that was, I don't even remember. It was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, like 3 years ago, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that actually introduced me to a couple of people that are like my soul family from that experience. And they introduced me to working with sacred plant medicines that really changed my life.
Ooh.
So like, I believe like that whole experience like was divinely given to me for like a soul reason. Like it's something that my soul was looking for because of what happened around that time,
Wow. Isn't it amazing
Yeah.
when we can pinpoint that moment of like almost like initiation and,
Yeah.
shift? That's beautiful. And I find so often that other people have similar experiences. And for me, it was very similar where, I started to feel empowered as a woman when I started to dance as well. And I wonder if there's a tie there specifically for women being in touch with our bodies and all of the energies and all the emotions we hold there, whether it's yoga, whether it's dance, just it
Yeah.
creates that space so new things can come in and it's powerful.
Oh, it was so powerful. Like I can't even, it was so powerful because I would have never thought that I would. And then I started teaching it a little while after that. And I just, like, I would have never thought that I would be teaching a freaking choreography dance class.
Right, right.
Yeah, it was
You
so
were
fun.
guided there. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. So we talked a little bit about just this is such a fascinating story of clearly like been guided to where you are now. And so now that you are, doing what you're doing, let's talk a little bit about like, I think one thing that a lot of people struggle with, and you talked about a little bit earlier, were these money blocks and stuff versus, the abundance mindset, and kind of what is the difference there for you? Like how have you been able to step into that, and what does it look like, and how do you coach people to get to that place?
Well, first off, language is a huge thing.
Mm.
I hear so many people always saying, I can't afford that. I wish I could. I don't have. And that is the first thing to change. Like, you have to change your
Mm.
language because your words are so powerful. And, you don't necessarily need to like declare that you're a millionaire when you're not, like, or whatever, and feel weird about it. But just change that language and don't ever say those words can't and don't have ever again, because
Love that.
it's just going to screw you up. um it just will. But the key, or what it was really helped me is, and this is the key to manifesting anything you want, is to feel the feelings associated with having it. So even if it has nothing to do with what you want, even if it has nothing to do with money, you need to feel the feelings that are associated with that. So how can you do that? I don't know, maybe dance, or maybe go get your nails done, makes you feel high vibe, or maybe like having a spa day at home, for God's sake, might make you feel like really loved and high vibe and abundant. Maybe you're thinking about this vacation that you have planned in a couple months and you're like just visualizing it and getting really excited about it. So either think about or do something that makes you feel those feelings, and you have a choice to do that. Any of us can do that. And I think the fastest way to do that is movement, body movement. So sometimes like I'll, if I'm not working out or dancing, I will literally, sometimes I'll just say crazy things in the mirror. Like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like, I can't believe how easy this is. This is so easy. Thank you, universe. Oh my God, this is like crazy how easy this is. And like, I'll go on this little rampage and like, it'll sound so silly. Like, and I'm just like home by myself, like doing this.
I love it. I love that. That's awesome.
And it really just like, first of all, it makes me laugh at myself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, I start to really like feel like, holy shit, this is so easy. And
That's
like
amazing.
crazy. Like, so words and movement, I feel like, are the most powerful thing. And you can also journal too. That's a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things, but it really boils down to feeling the feelings associated with what you want. You
Mm.
know, I'm not saying like you can never have a bad day or have moments, or just if you do have moments of like when you're feeling like lack and stuff, it doesn't mean you're going to screw it all up. It just means you need to learn how to shift that so that you can get back into alignment, because we manifest in the present moment. You know, everything's happening in the present moment. So, you know, just be aware of your vibe, your energy, and do things for yourself that make you feel good. You know,
Mm-hmm. I
it's
love
better than sitting there like feeling like crap.
feeling like the victim, like, why poor me, you know?
Yeah.
It shifts the whole dynamic, and suddenly you're like, no, I'm actually powerful in this situation. And you did that, you know, through what you went through as a teenager, like bringing yourself into power. I mean, not everyone would have been able to do what you did. And then to take that and use it for the greater good for the world is just, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to watch. And, you know, that's why you are an overnight success, right? You know, oh, it's wonderful. So, you know, for people who are watching at home, you know, we gave them some ideas on, and I actually should have said, you know, yes, because of what you said is amazing. And especially, I think the movement piece, I think that's one that I haven't really touched upon too much yet in my interviews. And that's one that really you can't emphasize how important that is for shifting who we are. I mean, before I do any of these interviews, I do a forward fold in, you know, yoga. I take some deep breaths. I was just planking beforehand just to kind of like tap into my core. That shifts the whole feeling. 'Cause otherwise, you know, we can all get nervous about things and go into situations kind of feeling like out of touch and not centered. And movement does that. So what are, you know, so if you've got people in your, you know, you are coaching, who are spiritual entrepreneurs, and they're feeling stuck, what are some of the things that you like to, you know, share with them or kind of move them through right off the bat?
Well, it depends like what they're feeling stuck with.
Sure.
Um, but usually it's, well, with my clients, it's either money, something money wise, or like having to do with like feeling like they're not ready or not good enough to do the things that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I share a lot of things with them. It depends like what exactly the topic, like the issue is.
Sure.
It could be something as simple as like helping them ask themselves better questions, like
Hmm.
instead of like, you know, what if this doesn't work out or whatever, or you know, why aren't I getting more clients, could be a question that some of them might ask.
Yeah.
Instead, like ask a better question, like what can I do differently to attract my soulmate clients to me? How can I show up in a more powerful way so that my soulmate clients can find me? You know, so that's one thing.
That I love that. Just
um
the question, the way you ask it, you
yeah.
know, rather than the why poor me, it's switching into what small things can I do to get me one step closer?
Yeah. And then I, you know, take them back to their why, as cliche as that might sound, because we hear that all the time. But, you know, sometimes we all actually at times need someone to kind of like remind us of like, okay, well, why do you feel called to do this? Like, what is it in your life that you've helped yourself through that is causing you to want to do this? And also, you need to remember that you're being divinely guided to do this for a reason. Like, that's actually why you came on this planet. So even if it shifts and changes, that's fine. But right now, feeling called to do this because you helped yourself with XYZ. I work with obviously coaches and service-based people.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you're meant to do that for a reason. You've obviously already guided yourself through this. You are capable, more than capable, of guiding other people to it. So I try to reconnect them to their why and remind them of their own strength through their story, because I believe that we're all our own muse, you know, and we're basically um, sharing our stories and experiences and passions throughout the things that we create. But it's really like based on things that we've experienced through life. That is the reason why um, we're doing that. If you're an influencer or a light worker or whatever, you're basically your own muse. You're helping people from a place of like you working from your higher self, and the way you've helped the human version of you that you've ascended from, even though you're still that human version of you, you know, you've been helping her your whole life in these ways. So the reason why you have this desire to help other people, and the reason why you're sharing your message, or you want to share your message the way you do, is because you're really doing it for her, which also encompasses the other hers out there that are like her. Does that make sense?
I loved that. That's so beautiful, especially, again, you know, you were talking earlier about like leaving your little girl behind, and
Yeah,
if all of us can just love on her a little bit, bring her into, you know, put her in our pockets and like take care of her throughout, you know, as we move forward as adults, it gives other people permission to do the same thing. And the healing that can happen is just astronomical. It's beautiful.
Like, even if you're an artist too, like I make crystal jewelry too.
Yeah,
And
I saw
like,
that.
even if you're an artist, you're like, you creating your art is like
You're
you
shining
pour
your light.
soul into this, and it's healing for you, I'm sure, because I know a lot of artists, and it's when I make my jewelry, it's healing and therapeutic to me. And I also like just infuse so much love into it that I'm like so excited when I, you know, people buy my pendants. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I just do it because I love it.
Yeah.
I do it as much as I used to right now, but
Yeah. No, that's so beautiful. And it's so cool when you say that, because I think it's important for people to understand being a light worker doesn't mean just being a coach, being a healer,
yeah,
being a this, being a that. It really is about
finding
just
your
finding right. Like anyone who follows what they feel is their path, you know, regardless of what everyone else wants them to be doing, they're a light worker, and they're giving us all permission to step into that power. And it's beautiful.
yeah. And I feel like no matter what you do, like, you still have a really powerful story, and you still can impact other people's lives, even if you're not, like you said, if you're not a coach or whatever. If you're an artist, and then like later on you go and write a book about your story because you have so many fans of your work and they want to know more about you, and then you share this story, and it's like, oh my god, you know, like everyone has a story to share. And I am really passionate about helping people share that and put themselves out there in a bigger way, because honestly, together, like collectively, we're changing the world, like really, on like
Right
such a deep,
now.
like I don't even know if people understand how important this is, but it's really important, like literally changing the world,
Yep.
one light worker at a time.
Hell yes. Oh, it's so true. And I think it's just about getting over that tipping point. You know, the more of us could like step into this power and step into who we truly are and our authenticity, and we share our gifts, you know, once we get to that tipping point, like shit's done. It's just going to switch right over. It's going to be really, really beautiful to watch. And I know there's a lot of like fear right now. There's so much fear right now. And, you know, that's why I felt compelled to do this interview series, because people need to know, they need to hear the stories, like you said, of people who have overcome such difficult odds and are still here, still shining their light, still being willing to like, you know, spread their voice to the world. And it's been such a pleasure, you know, having you as part of this. And, you know, your story is really, really special. And thank you for sharing it with this audience and for putting yourself out there like that.
Thank you for allowing me to do it.
Absolutely. And I wanted, before we go, I definitely want to talk about what you're offering our audience. You've got two offerings, which I think is so fun. One is a free offering and one is a paid offer. And both of them sound amazing. If you want to talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the free one is my Tribe Magic Challenge. And that is like a 5-day challenge to grow your tribe, to grow your audience online mainly. So like if you're wanting to grow your business online, grow your platform, get your message out there in a bigger way, start to grow your coaching business, or create online courses teaching people how to do something that changes their life, then this will definitely help you do that. It really goes in depth with like creating your tribe, because I actually created I have like my Spiritual Boss Babes group on Facebook. It's grown to like over 23,000 people in like 6 months.
Ah, oh my God. I'm signing up for that.
I thought you were in it for some reason, but yeah, it's
maybe
like
I'm not yet, but I want to do the Tribe Magic Challenge for sure.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then my Aligned AF masterclass is the paid one.
Yeah.
It's a 3-day masterclass, and it really takes you through the process of getting aligned as fuck with
Yep.
attracting more money and more abundance. So it really goes through like, you know, what keeps you from attracting money, how to navigate around those thoughts and beliefs. There's a lot of journaling exercises. There's meditation. And then there's one of my favorite money manifesting rituals at the end on day 3, which is something I always go to. And every time I do it, it's like instant manifestation.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's that is my paid offering. Do you want me to share the links, or are they going to be like
They're going to be right in the email. So yeah. And then what's the cost again of the paid one?
The Aligned AF is $97 in full, and I even have a pay plan to make it super easy.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell the value right there is enormous, especially when you say you've got this, you know, here's an exercise that like every time you do it, money shows up. So what a beautiful investment. What a beautiful energetic exchange for people watching to be able to start right off the bat. And you gave us a couple other amazing tips for how to just, you know, tap into, you know, our authenticity, to check our language, to break past those money beliefs. And, you know, I hope that everyone watching was able to really take in some of those nuggets that you shared today. So thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure to have you. And check out her Tribe Magic Challenge, her Aligned AF Masterclass, and get to be part of her tribe, because I'm excited to be.
I know. I'm excited too now. I thought you were.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Guys.
Bye.